Welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies. And on today's show, we're talking about World Domination Wednesday, which is all about your customer. And we're still looking at who is your customer at jane-gardner.com/SSS if you want to find out a little bit more about the TV show. Today, it's all about your customer, all about dominating the world of your customer and getting them to come and see you and buy from you again and again. So we've been working on for the last 4 weeks, who are your customers? So let's have a look at, I guess first find out about me. I'm Jane Gardner. I work with my husband in our structural engineering firm. It's a home office. We live in Western Canada. We've been doing this for 20 years, and we have dogs and cats and all kinds of stuff. But today we were going to be talking about who is your customer. We've been talking about this for about 4 or 5 weeks. And in this World Domination Wednesday, it's all about you and your customer. It is knowing how to define what your customer wants, give what your customers want, keep those customers, and keep growing your business with more customers by making your customers your raving fans who want to buy from you again and again. Excuse me. So, welcome. I hope that you enjoyed that idea and hope that you will come along for the ride. We've been working on using a sample idea for a product and figuring out who is their customers. So let's get started here. There are who are your customers? Your customers are those who want your solution to their problem, or they want your solution in order to fulfill their desire. Not everyone is your customer, so you have to find out who they are. So that's what we've been doing for the last 4 weeks. There's 3.3 billion internet users online today, and of those, your customers are out there waiting for you. So let's find out how to find out who they are. So we have been looking at who is your customer, and we used a sample idea of a wrinkle cream that you can get monthly on a subscription for busy women who want to use it once a day and not have to carry it around in their purse. So we define them maybe as age 45 to 65, female, busy corporate women concerned about aging, whose salary is $100,000 and more. So that a subscription for a $30 wrinkle cream is of no consequence to them. But anyway, so we looked at the demographics, where you could find the research for demographics for the age, the location, the gender, the income, the education, and profession. You have to define that, as well as the psychographics. What is their personality? What are their beliefs and values? What are their hobbies? What is the things they like to do? Where do they like to hang out? And last week we looked at media. We looked at the magazines that they might be interested in. And obviously the TV and movies you can work on yourself. But the websites they might be interested in, we looked at Alexa as a place that you could go find out what websites have more women over the age of 45 to 65, for example, who have a certain income. And we are going to be looking at social media today, but we also looked at government research and white papers. You can go to the Small Business Administration to find out about women, as well as Kauffman Foundation, I believe, we talked about. So today we're going to be looking at their purchasing behavior. When do they buy? How do they buy? So what is their strategy to buy? What are they looking for? And what are they using currently? So one of the great places to look at purchasing behavior is on Facebook Insights. So let's go there. But first off, I want to talk about my 6-day intensive course to define your ideal customer. We've been looking at it for 4 weeks, but we can certainly look at it in 6 days, defining what is your business solves, how does your business solve your ideal customer's need or problem. How to define your ideal customer profile. So we'll look at the places where you go to look at your demographics, your geographics. There's differences in location between people in the desert versus in the urban versus the rural versus even a different country. Then we will be looking at the psychographics in more detail, as well as the research, the sources for finding all this information. And then we'll look at how to use your research to craft your messages to your ideal customer. And then how to use tracking tools to measure the success of your messages out there to your ideal customer to attract them. So that offer for the 6-day intensive course is at jgtips.com/customer profile. So feel free to go and have a look at that. We should be starting sometime in late July. So we'll be starting that in late July. It's an early adopter offer, so for those, it's quite reasonably priced for you to come in and work with me on live webinars and get feedback over 5 weeks as to who your customer is and how you're working with the information in order to find your ideal customer, and so that can create the messaging that you need. So that's at jgtips.com/customer profile. Anyway, so today we're going to be looking at the purchasing of behavior and how you can do research on purchasing behavior. And you can also do this in a lot of the social media sites have information on the customers and the people that are hanging out and looking at your messaging. On Pinterest, for example, you can sign up for their ads there, and you can have a look at what the age is, demographics, what do they particularly like about your messaging on Pinterest. You can go to Twitter, and you can sign up for their Twitter ads, and then you can pick an audience there and see how many people are in that audience. But also you can have a look at your insights to see who is attracted to your messaging. But today I wanted to have a look at Facebook Ads Manager, which has audience insights, which is very useful to look at what are people actually buying now who are in your audience. So of course you have to have a rough idea what the audience is that you want to pick. So let me just get this all set up for you here, and let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I scrolled live. That's not very pleasant, was it? So maybe I'll go back to me while I adjust that. It was a bit big because we want to have a look at the side of it, as well as we want to look at the left side to make choices. So maybe I'll just be quicker if I just adjust it while we're looking at it in live. Okay, this is a bit tricky, but we'll have a look at it anyway. So this is what they call audience insights. You sign up for an ads manager as a business manager. You can sign up for an account, but you just give them a credit card. You don't actually have to make an ad. And in audience insights, it's a bit further down. What you search for in Ads Manager, you can create an audience. So for example, let's create one. We're looking at a busy woman in the US. So we'll look at maybe a region of the US. Let's try New York. Sorry, I always get confused by this. New York State. New York. Yeah, I guess that's the city. It's quite a large enough city. I should be able to have demographics. We're looking for female, but we're not looking for 18 to 24s. We're looking for 45 to 35 to 65. And what this does is once they give you set it all up, it'll give you some ideas on the other places that they purchase, the magazines that they go and have, etc., and their interests. So let's just go to here up to 65. I think I picked women. Yeah. And let's see, what interests should we use? Maybe in beauty. Pick beauty. just in general. And I think that's good enough. So then you go over to the right side. And this is all about who is on Facebook. So the demographics for Facebook for picking for US, there's 200,000 women. 54% of them are on Facebook. 100% of them are women. 0% of men interested in beauty on Facebook anyway. And then they also tell you about their lifestyle. Just see if I can make this a bit smaller. Or is it bigger? No, it's smaller. Right. Great. That's much better. Okay. So then they look at that lifestyle. So we pick people who were interested in beauty and in New York City. So they have different ways they label people in Facebook. These are called urban tenants, who are singles in their early 50s, middle income, white collar professionals that take advantage of urban life, enjoying the income and time that they have to the fullest. So there's 17% of them in New York, of course, and they are women. So that is probably the demographic that you want to go for, and a lifestyle. And then you can have a look at page likes, and it's only good for US, but the top categories are the New York Lottery. They like Fox TV channel, the radio station, it's WBLS, and media, NBC New York, clothing, Lord & Taylor, the artist Nancy Alvarez. I think that means they're mostly Spanish speaking, but anyway, they see Puerto Rico, and they like JetBlue, and the author Mary Celeste. And here are some of the pages that they like. They are Fox and NBC, ABC, Pix, New York Lottery, Lord & Taylor. So these are Mark Anthony. So these are basically some of the pages that they've liked. And it gives you 28% of them liked the New York Lottery, which was only natural. And the location, obviously they're all in New York. And the activity. So the number of times the selected audience perform these actions on Facebook. So in the last 30 days, they commented and they liked pages and posts, 20%, 22%, 19%. And most of them access Facebook using mobile, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the household income. So you can actually look at the household income. So 34% of them have a household income of $50,000 or more. And then as you go up in income, you have less of them on the internet. So 17% were 75,000. And 51% of them own their own home. And I believe they're mostly single women. And the spending, so they have spending and how they spend money. They spend money on 91% on the bank cards, credit cards, gas and store is 68%, upscale department stores 37%, and 11% for travel and entertainment. And they primarily use cash, which is 78%, which is a surprise. So this is all based on the people on Facebook. So what does that mean for you in terms of your purchasing behavior? So let's go back to the purchasing behavior. So when did they buy? So what do they use? They use their credit card. They like to buy from upscale department stores. And it basically, what are they using that is similar to what we are looking at, the wrinkle cream. So we could probably define that a bit more and go down to beauty products, etc. And this would give you an idea of the women on Facebook anyway who are interested in beauty. So what you would do is probably go and get yourself a Facebook page for your beauty cream and your beauty business, if that's what you had, because there are a lot of women on Facebook. And then you would have a look at the other social media sites and see where if they were also on Twitter, etc. So this is some of the ways you can research who your customers are and what they want and what they also purchase otherwise. So I think I mentioned a magazine. I'm not sure if we actually saw the magazines, but the TV shows, etc. There is a section there on magazines, so you could actually have a look at the magazine. So in case on Oprah, I think 55% of them were over the age of 50, I believe, in those things that I showed you last week, the media kit, which is for advertisers and to see who their audience is. But of course, you can also see the same media kit and see that 55% of them are also 50 years or older women. Of course, usually mostly high percentage of Black women. But what this tells you is you can have a look through the magazine and see the kind of ads that are there that are attracting them, and look at how you can compete with that kind of messaging and compete and differentiate yourself, and where you can go to hang out. So you can certainly hang out on Facebook and create a Facebook page and do some messaging there, because there's a lot of upper income women hanging out on Facebook. So this is one of the ways that you can look at working out your customer profile. And as I mentioned, I have a course on how to do it. Let's see where we are. It's called Who is Your Ideal Customer? It's at jgtips.com/customer profile. And I think for now we've sort of summed up who is your customer. And I think next week we're going to go off and talk about selling to your customer, because we've done about 4 weeks on who is your customer. Get some idea on how to create the profile of your ideal customer, as some of the ways that you can research and find out information that you can collect to figure out who is your ideal customer. And once you know that, you can then figure out some of the messaging that you can do to them. Obviously, someone who's an older woman will have different messaging than someone who's 18-year-olds old. And then you can start creating your messaging and selling to your customer profile. As we mentioned just now, maybe go over on to create a Facebook page. So this is Jane Gardner. I hope this gave you something to think about in terms of who is your ideal customer and how to find out who they are. I will be creating an archive of the various shows as we go along, but you can certainly go back in the podcast at jgtips.com/iTunes or jgtips.com/SoundCloud, and going back into the previous discussion about who is your ideal customer on World Domination Wednesday. And of course, I have a show every week. One is Mindset Monday on Monday. Tuesday is Get Your Message Out, which is about branding your website and social media. Wednesday is about your customer and customer service and customer profiling. Thursday is about your skills and your knowledge you need as an entrepreneur. Friday is called Freebie Fridays, where we talk about free software to save you money in your business. Saturday is Systems Saturday, which is about building some systems into your business so you have more free time to grow your business or just free time for yourself. And Sunday is a Strategy Sunday, where we talk about the strategy of going from your goal or vision for your business and then creating your business plan and getting started, and what business model you might want to use for your business once you look at your goals and your vision. So thank you for listening. This has been World Domination Wednesday, and I hope I gave you some action ideas to take action on today on how to create your customer profile. And next week we'll be talking about how to sell to your customer. So talk to you then. Bye.